The Lunar Research Facility hummed with activity as engineers and scientists worked frantically to complete final preparations. Earth had known about the Galactic Empire for decades, carefully maintaining the facade of a primitive civilization, while secretly developing technologies that followed a completely different evolutionary path. Captain Jun Park studied the holographic display of his prototype warship, the Thunderbolt. As the project's lead commander, he had overseen every aspect of its development. Captain, quantum weapons are showing 98% stability in final simulations, reported Lieutenant Hyun Lee, his weapons specialist. Good. And the shield harmonics? Better than expected, said Engineer Mina Kim, looking up from her console. The phasing technology should make us practically invisible to Imperial scanning. Their conversation was interrupted by the facility's commander, Admiral Tahan, who burst through the doors with unusual urgency. "They're here," he announced. "A full Imperial fleet just entered the solar system. Our observation posts are tracking 27 warships on approach vector to Earth." Jun's expression hardened. "How long?" 12 hours, maximum. The Security Council is attempting diplomatic contact, but the Admiral's voice trailed off. "But we all know how that will go," Jun finished. "How soon can we launch?" Mina checked her displays. "The Thunderbolt can be ready in 6 hours, but the quantum systems are still untested in actual combat." "Then will be the test," Jun said. "Alert the crew. We launch in 5 hours." The crew rushed to their stations. Jun walked through the ship's corridors, watching his team prepare for humanity's first true space battle. They had trained for years, but now faced the real test against an enemy that had conquered 1,000 worlds. Engineer Mina worked with her team to stabilize the quantum core. "The power systems are operating beyond expected parameters," she told Jun. "We might have more firepower than we thought." In the weapons bay, Hyun calibrated the targeting systems. "Imperial ships rely on predictable attack patterns," he explained. "They've never needed to adapt since they always overwhelm with numbers." Communications Officer Sori Yoon interrupted over the ship-wide system. "Captain, you're needed on the bridge. The Empire has rejected diplomatic contact and accelerated their approach." Jun hurried to the command center where Admiral Ta waited with a grim face. "They've issued an ultimatum. Earth has 6 hours to surrender unconditionally or face planetary bombardment." "Just in time for our launch," Jun noted. "Any word from the other facilities?" "The backup projects need at least 2 more days," the Admiral replied. "The Thunderbolt is Earth's only defense." Jun nodded. "Then will have to be enough." As final preparations continued, Jun gathered his senior officers. "The Empire expects to find a primitive world with basic defenses. They'd brought overwhelming force to intimidate us, but they don't know what we've built here." "1 ship against 27, said Hyun. "Those aren't good odds." Mina smiled. "But they're bringing conventional weapons to a quantum fight." "Exactly," Jun agreed. "We don't need to destroy their fleet. We just need to surprise them enough to force a retreat." As launch time approached, the crew took their positions. The massive lunar bay doors slid open, revealing the star-filled blackness of space. In the distance, bright specks marked the approaching Imperial fleet. "Power at maximum," reported Mina from engineering. "Quantum core stable. Weapons hot and targeting systems online," added Hyun. Sora looked up from communications. "Message from Earth Command. We are authorized to engage using all necessary force to protect the planet." Jun settled into the captain's chair. "Engage stealth systems. Set course to intercept the Imperial vanguard." The Thunderbolt glided silently from its lunar cradle, its revolutionary engines barely disturbing the void around it. On the main display, the Imperial fleet grew larger. Massive warships covered in weapons and armor, advancing in perfect formation. "They still haven't detected us," Sora confirmed. Their communications showed no sign of alarm. "Take us in closer," ordered Jun. "Let's see just how invisible we really are." The Thunderbolt slipped between the first line of Imperial ships, so close they could see details of alien script on the hulls. The Empire's confidence was their weakness. They hadn't even activated their defensive shields. "Select the command ship," Jun ordered. "Prepare to demonstrate what one human ship can do." As the Thunderbolt positioned itself beneath the massive Imperial flagship, Jun gave a final look around the bridge at his crew. Humanity's first and only space warriors about to face an empire that ruled the stars. "For Earth," he said simply, then nodded to Hyun. "Fire." The Thunderbolt glided silently through space, its revolutionary engines leaving no energy trail for enemy sensors to detect. Captain Jun Park stood on the bridge, watching the massive Imperial fleet grow larger on the main display. 27 warships against one. But what a one it was. "Maintain stealth approach," Jun ordered. "Use that asteroid cluster for additional cover." The helmsman, Officer Daeyeon, guided their ship with precision. The Thunderbolt responded like a living thing, weaving between floating rock formations that would help mask their presence. "Imperial fleet maintaining formation," reported Lieutenant Hyun from the tactical station. "They're still broadcasting victory messages. They have no idea we're here." Jun studied the enemy vessels. Each Imperial ship bristled with conventional weapons, laser arrays, missile batteries, and plasma cannons. Their hulls displayed the symbols of conquered worlds, trophies from 100 campaigns of subjugation. "NOVA, analyze their defensive capabilities," Jun commanded. The ship's artificial intelligence responded immediately, highlighting sections of the enemy vessels with glowing markers. "Imperial ships rely on predictive targeting systems," the pleasant female voice explained. "Their computers calculate where targets will be, not where they are. With our maneuvering capabilities, we can stay ahead of their predictions." Mina joined Jun at the tactical display. "Look at their formation," she pointed out. "Everything centers around the command ship. Their entire battle network is hierarchical. Cut off the head, and the body follows." Jun nodded. "Exactly what we suspected." The bridge fell silent as a patrol vessel suddenly changed course, moving directly toward their position. It was a smaller craft, but still 3 times the size of the Thunderbolt. "They've detected us?" Jun asked sharply. "Negative," responded Communications Officer Sora. "Appears to be a routine patrol pattern, but they'll pass within visual range." "All systems to minimum power," ordered Jun. "Emergency stealth protocols." The Thunderbolt's lights dimmed as the ship reduced its energy signature to near zero. The temperature on the bridge dropped noticeably as life support systems scaled back to bare minimums. Through the viewports, they watched the massive Imperial patrol ship drift overhead. Its scanning beams swept across their position, passing near meters from their hull. The crew held their breath, acutely aware that discovery now would mean certain destruction. "Their scanning beam just passed through us," whispered Hyun in amazement. The phasing technology actually worked. After several tense minutes, the patrol ship continued on its way, oblivious to the human vessel hiding in plain sight. "Power restoration to stealth levels," Jun ordered, and the crew exhaled collectively. "Captain," Sora called from her station, "I'm intercepting internal communications from the Imperial ships. I think you should hear this." She transferred the audio to the main speakers. Harsh alien voices spoke in their native language, but no VA translated. "Next shipment of laborers from Earth will be processed for mining operations in the Rigel sector. Resistance will determine suitability for combat pit entertainment." The bridge crew listened in horror as the Imperials casually discussed their plans for humanity. Forced labor, entertainment in death matches, and worse. "There's more," Sora said quietly. "They already have prisoners from other worlds aboard their ships. Thousands of them, being used as slave labor to operate the vessels." Jun's expression hardened. "So destroying their ships would kill innocent captives?" "Yes," Sora confirmed, her face pale. "But surrendering means the same fate for everyone on Earth." A heavy silence fell over the bridge as the full gravity of their situation became clear. They couldn't simply destroy the Imperial fleet without condemning thousands of enslaved beings. But failure to act would doom billions on Earth. "Captain," Minna said suddenly, studying her console, "I think I have an idea. No VA shows that the Imperial ships use centralized life support systems. If we could target those specifically, we might be able to disable the vessels without harming the occupants." "Can we do that with our weapons?" June asked. Hyun considered the tactical display. "The quantum cannons can be calibrated for precision strikes. We'd need to get close, dangerously close, but it's possible." "And once disabled," June prompted, "their emergency protocols would seal off command centers," Minna explained. "The Imperials would be trapped, but the slave quarters would remain habitable." June nodded slowly, a plan forming. "So we disable their ships, isolate their commanders, and potentially free their prisoners. All from one ship they don't even know exists," said Hyun with a smile. June turned to his crew, determination in his eyes. "Set course for the flagship. It's time to show the Empire that humanity isn't as primitive as they think." The Thunderbolt accelerated silently toward its target, carrying with it not just Earth's defense, but now a mission of liberation. One human ship against an empire of stars. And the odds were shifting. The Thunderbolt held position in the shadow of a massive asteroid, its systems humming at minimal power. Captain June studied the Imperial fleet on his tactical display. The time for observation was over. Now they would act. "Sensor ecosystems ready, Captain," reported Lieutenant Daehyun, his fingers poised over the controls. June nodded. "Begin deployment. Target pattern Alpha." Daehyun activated the Thunderbolt's most innovative defensive system. Instantly, the ship projected dozens of phantom energy signatures across a wide area of space. To Imperial sensors, it would appear as if multiple human vessels had somehow penetrated their blockade formation. Echo signatures detected by Imperial sensors, confirmed Communications Officer Sora, monitoring enemy channels. "They're confused. Multiple ships are breaking formation to investigate." On the main display, they watched as Imperial vessels began moving in different directions, their perfect formation dissolving as they chased ghosts. Communications traffic increasing exponentially, Sora reported, a small smile forming. "They're demanding identification from our phantom ships." Engineer Minna looked up from her station. "Quantum weapons fully charged, Captain. We have one optimal firing solution. Target their flagship's primary communication array," ordered June. "Precision strike only." Tactical Officer Hyun locked onto the target. Target acquired. Quantum harmonics matched to their shield frequency. June took a deep breath. This would be humanity's first offensive act against the Galactic Empire. Fire. The Thunderbolt shuddered slightly as its main weapon discharged. A beam of brilliant blue-white energy, invisible to conventional sensors, struck the Imperial flagship with surgical precision. The massive communication array exploded in a shower of debris and venting atmosphere. "Direct hit," exclaimed Hyun. "Their communications hub is completely severed." The bridge crew watched in amazement as confusion spread through the Imperial fleet. Without central coordination, ships began moving erratically, some firing weapons at phantom targets, others transmitting contradictory orders. "It's working exactly as we predicted," Minna said, studying the sensor readings. "Their whole command structure is fragmenting." Sora suddenly straightened at her console. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from one of the smaller vessels breaking away from the main fleet. It's different from the others." June moved to her station. "Different how?" "Power distribution is inefficient. Life support is operating at maximum capacity," she explained. "And I'm picking up thousands of life signs crammed into cargo holds." A prison transport, June realized. They're trying to escape with their slaves while the fleet is in chaos. The bridge fell silent as everyone understood the implications. Their mission had been to demonstrate Earth's capabilities and force an Imperial retreat. But now, innocents were directly in play. "We can't let them escape with those prisoners," Minna said finally. June made his decision quickly. "Helm, intercept course for that transport. Weapons, prepare for precision strikes on their engines and weapons only. Boarding team, stand by." The Thunderbolt accelerated from its hiding place, finally revealing itself as it pursued the prison transport. The Imperial vessel detected them and attempted evasive maneuvers, but Earth's prototype was faster and more agile. "They're charging weapons," reported Hyun. "Strike first," ordered June. "Disable their primary systems." The Thunderbolt fired a series of precision blasts, targeting the transport's engines and weapon emplacements. The Imperial ship shuddered to a halt in space, emergency systems flashing across its hull. "They're disabled but intact," confirmed Hyun. "Life support still functioning." "Boarding team ready," reported Security Chief Ji-ho over the intercom. June activated the ship-wide communication system. "This is the captain. We are about to attempt the first boarding action against an Imperial vessel. Our objectives are clear. Secure the ship and free the prisoners. Remember your training and stay focused." The Thunderbolt maneuvered alongside the crippled transport. Using their advanced phase technology, the boarding team transferred directly through the hulls without needing to dock. The bridge crew monitored the operation through helmet cameras. They watched as human soldiers encountered Imperial guards and neutralized them efficiently with stun weapons. The aliens, used to overwhelming force, had no defense against Earth's advanced technology. After 30 tense minutes, Jiho's voice came through. "Captain, the ship is secure. You need to see this." June transferred command to Hyun and joined the boarding team. What he found inside the transport shocked him. Thousands of beings from dozens of species were crammed into cargo holds designed for freight. Many showed signs of mistreatment and malnutrition. As the prisoners realized they were being freed, hope spread through their ranks. One stepped forward, a tall, slender being with iridescent skin, who introduced herself as Taiji. "You are not Imperial," she stated, studying June's uniform. "Who are you?" "Humans," June replied simply. "From Earth." Taiji's eyes widened. "The new conquest. But the Empire said your species was primitive." June smiled slightly. "We let them believe that. The Imperials conquer through overwhelming force and fear," Taiji explained. "But without central command, they fragment. They have never faced a species that could strike at their coordination." As they spoke, reports came in from the Thunderbolt. More Imperial ships were breaking formation, some retreating entirely. Their perfect invasion was falling apart. "We need to return to our ship," Joan told Taiji. "Will your people assist us?" Taiji looked around at the freed prisoners, who were already helping the injured. "We have fought the Empire for generations. Today, we fight with you." Back on the Thunderbolt, the bridge had become a center of both human and alien cooperation. Taiji and several other freed prisoners with military experience had joined Captain June's tactical team, offering invaluable intelligence about Imperial weaknesses. Their ships require direct authorization from the flagship for any major tactical change, Taiji explained, pointing to the Imperial formation on the display. With their central communications down, each captain must act independently. June nodded, understanding. "And they're not trained for that." "Exactly," agreed Taiji. "They are trained to follow orders, not to think creatively." Engineer Minna looked up from her station with renewed determination. "I've modified our sensor ecosystem based on Taiji's information. We can now create phantom signatures that exactly match Imperial patrol vessels." "Perfect," said June. "We'll use their own recognition codes against them." The Thunderbolt implemented the new strategy immediately. The small Earth vessel became a ghost in space, appearing briefly to strike a command ship, then vanishing, only to reappear elsewhere. Each time they struck, they'd broadcast different Imperial identification codes. "Targeting their second command vessel now," reported Lieutenant Hyun. Firing. Another precision strike, Another disabled command center. On the tactical display, the Imperial formation was breaking down further as ships lost coordination. Communications Officer Sora listened intently to the Imperial channels, a smile growing on her face. "Captain, they're beginning to fire on each other. Several Imperial captains believe they've been infiltrated and are attacking ships that don't respond to authentication fast enough." The bridge crew watched in amazement as confusion turned to chaos, with Imperial vessels now actively firing on one another, unable to distinguish friend from foe. "Their entire invasion strategy is collapsing," said Teji, wonder in her voice. One small ship from a primitive world. The moment of triumph was short-lived. Without warning, a massive energy blast struck the Thunderbolt, sending everyone sprawling. Red alert warnings blared throughout the ship as systems overloaded. "Direct hit on our port side," called out Dahyun from the helm, struggling to stabilize the ship. "Damage report," ordered Jun, pulling himself back into his chair. Engineer Minna worked frantically at her station. Engine stability down to 42%. Quantum core containment holding, but barely. "We can't take another hit like that." "Who found us?" Joan demanded. "Imperial Dreadnought," reported Hyun, pointing to a massive vessel moving away from the main fleet. "They got lucky. We passed through their automated defense grid." The Thunderbolt limped behind an asteroid, temporarily safe but severely damaged. The crew worked frantically to reroute systems and restore power. "Captain," called Tactical Officer Sunwoo from the sensor station, his voice tense. "I'm detecting an unusual energy buildup in the Imperial Dreadnought. It's like nothing I've seen before." Jun and Teji moved to his station, studying the readings. "A planet killer," Teji whispered, her face paling. "They're charging their superweapon." "Target?" Jun asked, though he already feared the answer. Sunwoo looked up, his expression grim. "Coordinates match Earth, sir." Silence fell over the bridge as the implications became clear. The Empire, frustrated by their disintegrating invasion, had decided to simply destroy the planet rather than conquer it. "How long until it fires?" Jun asked. 20 minutes at most," replied Sunwoo. Jun surveyed his damaged ship and exhausted crew. They had fought brilliantly, turning the tide against an overwhelming force. But now they faced an even greater challenge. "Options?" he asked. Engineer Minna spoke first. "The quantum core is still operational. If we overload it near their weapon systems, that would be a suicide mission," said Hyun quietly. "Not necessarily," Teji interjected. "My people have studied Imperial dreadnoughts. Their superweapon draws power from their main reactors. If we could disrupt that power flow at the right moment, the weapon would backfire," finished Mina, her eyes widening with understanding. A plan quickly took shape. The Thunderbolt would make one final desperate approach to the dreadnought, using its remaining power to disrupt the superweapon's charging sequence. "We'll need to get very close," Jun told his crew. "And our shields will be minimal." "The freed prisoners on the transport can help," offered Teji. "Many were engineers and soldiers. We can coordinate an attack from multiple vectors to divide their attention." Jun nodded, then addressed his crew. "I won't order anyone to take this risk. This goes beyond our mission parameters." One by one, the crew members voiced their commitment. They had come too far to back down now. "Repair teams, you have 15 minutes," Jun ordered. "Get us whatever power and maneuverability you can. Tactical, plot the most direct approach to their weapon systems. Communications, coordinate with the prisoner transport." As the crew rushed to prepare, Jun stood at the viewport, looking out at the Imperial fleet and beyond them, to the distant blue speck that was Earth. Everything humanity had built, everyone they had loved. It all came down to the next 15 minutes. "We finish this now," he said quietly, determination hardening his voice, "no matter what it takes." The Thunderbolt drifted behind the remains of a destroyed Imperial vessel, its crew working frantically to prepare for their final mission. Captain Jun checked the status displays, noting their rapidly diminishing options. Time to super-weapon discharge, he asked. 8 minutes, replied Sunwoo, his eyes fixed on the sensor readings of the massive Imperial dreadnought. Engineer Minna approached June, her face streaked with grease from emergency repairs. Captain, I've reconfigured the quantum core. We can create an energy cascade if we get close enough to their weapon systems. How close? June asked. Within 1 kilometer, she answered. Point-blank range. June nodded, understanding what this meant. Will the ship survive? If we eject the core at precisely the right moment, maybe. But I can't promise anything. Across the communications channel, Teiji's voice came through. She was coordinating the freed prisoners who had spread word to other enslaved species throughout the Imperial fleet. Captain June, my people are in position. The moment you begin your approach, they will initiate internal sabotage across multiple vessels. Redirect all power to the experimental drive, June ordered. Cut life support to minimal levels. We need every ounce of energy for speed and maneuverability. The bridge darkened as non-essential systems shut down. Only the glow of critical displays illuminated the determined faces of the crew. Course plotted, announced Daehyun from the helm. The approach will take exactly 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Weapon status, June asked. Quantum torpedoes armed and modified according to Mina's specifications, reported Hyun. They're unstable, but they'll work. June took a final look at his crew, humans who had trained for years for a mission they never truly believed would come. Now they faced not just the test of combat, but the salvation of their entire world. Begin approach, he ordered. The Thunderbolt surged forward, its experimental engines pushing far beyond safety parameters. On the tactical display, they watched as dozens of small disruptions began appearing throughout the Imperial fleet. The enslaved races, emboldened by the human attack, were fighting back. Imperial fleet in disarray, reported Sora. Internal communications indicate widespread sabotage. Weapon systems failing, life support fluctuating. The massive dreadnought grew larger in their view screen as they approached. Its superweapon glowed with terrible energy, aimed directly at Earth. They've detected us, warned Hyun. Point defense systems activating. Energy beams lanced out from the dreadnought, most missing as the Thunderbolt's erratic course confounded Imperial targeting computers. One struck a glancing blow, shaking the ship violently. Shield failure imminent, called out Mena. Core temperature rising beyond safety limits. 3 minutes to weapon discharge, reported Sunwoo. June opened a ship-wide channel. When I give the word, Engineer Mina will overload the drive and eject it toward their weapon systems. Brace for impact and prepare for emergency protocols. The Thunderbolt closed the final distance, ducking and weaving through increasingly desperate Imperial defenses. They passed so close to the dreadnought's hull that they could see individual weapon emplacements tracking them. We're in position, announced Daehyun, 1 kilometer from their main weapon housing. 2 minutes to discharge, said Sunwoo. June looked to Mina, who nodded, her hand poised over the core ejection controls. Now, he ordered. Mina initiated the sequence. The Thunderbolt shuddered as its quantum core ejected, hurtling toward the dreadnought's superweapon. The specially modified core created an energy reaction that rippled across space, interfering with the dreadnought's power systems. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The superweapon's energy flow reversed, feeding back into the Imperial vessel's systems. Explosions cascaded across the massive ship as power conduits overloaded. Get us out of here, June ordered. Daehyun struggled with the failing controls, guiding the crippled Thunderbolt away from the expanding destruction. The dreadnought's superweapon destabilized, consuming itself in a blinding explosion that took half the ship with it. Throughout the Imperial fleet, the coordinated rebellion of enslaved species had thrown the remaining vessels into chaos. Leaderless and under attack from within and without, the Imperial captains began making individual decisions, and most chose to retreat. They're running, whispered Sora in disbelief, watching the Imperial ships flee in all directions. They're actually running. The Thunderbolt drifted, severely damaged but intact, as the remains of the Imperial invasion force disappeared into hyperspace. Around them, liberated ships crewed by former slaves began to gather. 3 weeks later, a remarkable procession approached Earth. In the lead was the battered Thunderbolt, followed by dozens of former Imperial vessels now controlled by the liberated species. The first contact humanity had officially prepared for was nothing like they had expected. At Space Command Headquarters, Admiral Taeyang welcomed Captain Jun and his crew, along with representatives from 7 different alien species. The debriefing room was packed with Earth's highest officials, eager to understand how one ship had defeated an Imperial fleet. The Empire expected to face humanity's military might, Jun explained as he concluded his report. They prepared for our technology, our weapons, our numbers. What they never considered was our creativity, our adaptability, and our willingness to stand against impossible odds. Taiji, now serving as spokesperson for the liberated species, stepped forward. For centuries, the Empire has conquered through fear and overwhelming force. But today marks the beginning of something new. A coalition of free worlds, standing together. As Earth welcomed its new allies and prepared for a changed future among the stars, a new story spread across the galaxy. The Empire had waited for a fleet, but one human ship was all it took. The end.